Well, it's almost Christmas, as you can see. Still have my Christmas decorations up. And I figured today, in today's video, I wanted to talk about the struggles of transitioning. Okay, so my number one thing that stopped everything, and I said to myself, if this can't happen, I will never do it. And that was passing. Now, this is a big one for almost everybody. I don't care who you are. Passing is that's like the big thing, okay? Nobody wants to be out in public and people sit there and go, I don't know. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? That is the worst feeling in the world. And I can tell you that I experienced it numerous times. Like literally numerous times, and it wears you down mentally. It makes you feel so awful and bad inside. Now, I'm not talking about this to make it all a sad video and passing is one of the hardest things, and not everyone. Depends on age, it depends on everything. There's so many factors that allows and determines passing. Even perception of like people is just, you could be like the most passable person and still there's going to be people that are going to be like, I don't know. It just is what it is. I don't think that I turned out too bad, but yet about a week ago, I actually had someone question it, and it kind of threw me off, and I didn't even know what to do. Like, the way I felt inside it's just awful. Like, and I don't wish it on anybody. And quick story about that is I was at work. I was helping out this family. It was two little girls and their father. And the little girl looks up at the dad and says, "Is that a boy or a girl?" Now, I literally had a t-shirt on, my hair up like this, and there was nothing that gave it away that said, is this a boy or a girl? Now, I think kids have like a sixth sense. You know how like they can see dead people?
I see dead people.
So, something along those lines. But it's all about confidence as well. Confidence is a huge thing and a huge factor into making yourself passable. Now, again, not everyone can fall into this category. There are a lot of factors into this. Some people just have better luck with it, better genes, the age that they transitioned at, things like that. There's no right or wrong. There's no easy way to make it passing. There's people that go through surgeries. There's people that there's no easy way to do it. So best advice I can give about passing is be as natural and authentic as you can. Don't worry about what the other people are going to think, because there's always going to be someone that's not going to like what you're doing. Number 2 is your voice. Your voice your voice can be a huge giveaway. Okay? Your voice determines a lot of things. You could look amazing on the outside, like stunning, amazing. Okay? Your voice could totally blow that up. Completely blow that up and give it all away. And everything that you've done and worked for would be for nothing, so to speak, because now your voice is projecting a man's voice, but yet your outside looks feminine. It throws a lot of people off. Again, another struggle that we all struggle with. It's another struggle that I had when I first transitioned. So my first time out was December 16th, 2018. And I had a wig on. I didn't have long hair yet. And I had been working on my voice a little bit, but I couldn't get it to where I wanted it to. And it was super frustrating. I used to practice on my way to work, all of that. So being at work, I used to be called out. They'd be like, I'd be helping a customer. They'd be like, oh, he said this and he said that and he, ha ha ha, whatever. And that gets to you. That makes you feel super uncomfortable. It makes you feel super bizarre and awkward, and makes you literally want to run away and hide. So, number 2, your voice. Best advice I can give for that is you literally have to just practice. Some people give up on it. They don't care anymore. And that's just who they are. You either accept it or you don't. And that's totally fine. Otherwise, it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of work. I do have another video that I did, I don't know if it was super helpful, about voice training. It's all about the muscles in your throat. You have to kind of squeeze them to create and move the voice up. I know it sounds stupid or weird, but there's so many videos out there. I have one as well. I don't know if it's going to be helpful. I watched a lot of videos on it. It was helpful to a point, but it's the same thing as not everyone can do every trick. You know, it's some people can do it, some people can't. I guess with enough practice, anybody could get there to some extent, but it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be the way you want it to be. We are our worst enemies. That's just a fact. Problem number 3 is hair. Hair is a big thing. Now, hair doesn't make everything, and it doesn't make everything all better, because if you look at like a lot of women have buzzed hair and this and that, but their facial features and voice help counteract that. So it's those types of things that make it challenging. So we're in the perception of, if you look back at like magazines, if you look at just over the course of history, like women have long hair, men have short hair. That's just the way everything has been built, and that's the way everything is hardwired into our brains now. So yes, so hair, growing out your hair, wearing a wig, it creates that persona of that you're a female. And it also helps. It helps us helps make us feel more authentic, because that's what society says. Society determines long hair is feminine, short hair is male. So that's going to be up to you of how you want to do that. But hair is a process. Long hair is a process. It takes years to grow hair. Unfortunately, there's no easy way beyond that. You can do hair extensions, wigs, things like that. But there's no easy way. I think it's like 6 inches per year, like naturally. So that just takes time, patience, and you got to wait for it to grow. Problem number 4, body, height. I guess that's 2, but it's the same body and height. It's whatever. Height is a big thing. So now you're afraid of going out. You don't think you're gonna pass. Your voice, your face. And now your height. Say we'll use your height for example. Your height, okay? Well, I'm 5'10". So 5'10", you don't see a lot of 5'10" women. There are a lot of them, but there's not as many, say, in the 5 foot to 5'7" range. There's a lot more. So now you feel even more awkward, because now you feel like you're towering over these people going, ugh.
What do you say we go somewhere else?
That's a huge bitch!
You know, like you feel like you're this giant, like you feel like you stick out like a sore thumb. And I've been transitioned now since 2018, and I still feel like I'm towering over people. I still feel very insecure sometimes. And yes, I know the model height or supermodel height is 5'10". However, I still don't feel like that sometimes. I don't feel that it's natural. And it just makes me feel very uncomfortable. So height can be a huge hindrance. Height can be a huge problem and really make people feel uncomfortable. With height, that's just something you have to learn to accept and something that you have to embrace. So when somebody says something and they're like, wow, you're really tall, I say, yeah, I'm supermodel height. With the body is, like, body's a tough one. So naturally, men usually have more narrow hips and broader shoulders, which creates the inverse triangle, okay? Sometimes you can have more of a square shape. I've noticed that there's some like just regular, like, genetically born men have more of like a square shape. They don't necessarily have that inverted V. I do have an inverted V. It's not super pronounced. Like my shoulders are okay. They're not as broad as some, but they're definitely not as narrow as others. My hips are, I transitioned at 37. So my hips and everything, all the bone, everything was fused already. So there's no growing. But you can do exercises. You can put on muscle mass to kind of help fill the area better. But it's never going to be what you want it to be. We're our worst critics. We attack ourselves mentally, physically. Like we You're never going to be perfect. And that's the same as women in general. Like, nobody likes the way they look for the most part. You know, you're always going to find an issue with something, with some kind of feature on your body that's you're just not going to like. So best thing to do with that is work with what you got. Finding the right clothing. The right clothing can help hide those features. Now, I'm not going to go into a video of what to wear, because everybody's going to wear something different. Everybody has their own style. That's for you to determine. That's for you to figure out. Best thing to do with that was I did a lot of my ordering online. It would come in. I would try and figure out my sizing, figure out style. I would stand in front of a mirror. I would look, you look from behind, you look from the side, you look from the front, and you just kind of look around and you see what works for you. Your style is your style. That's not everyone's going to have the same style. So it's going to be what fits your body, what you feel comfortable in. Problem number 5, makeup. Makeup can be an art. And not everyone has the skill to do it. And that's okay. Not everyone has the skill to be an artist. Not everyone has the same skills. Like, it's something that you can learn over time. But to some people, it just comes a lot more natural. So what I found was I was not very good at it. And I did pretty much the basics to what I needed to make me feel like I passed. So this world is extremely hard to navigate. There's no easy way to go about this. There's no right or wrong. I keep making these videos. I know they're not exciting and glamorous as some of the others. I know they can be kind of boring. I probably drone on about stuff that nobody really cares about. But if you are getting something from this, and if it is something that's helpful, that's awesome. And I wish you guys all the best. Hope you all have a Merry Christmas.